Welcome to Hustle to Flow. This week is a little different. 30 weeks ago, I started an experiment. What would happen if instead of focusing on tactics, we looked at the patterns underneath and started investigating those patterns and see how they impact growth? Since then, we have investigated bottlenecks, distortions, visibility problems, cash consistency and cash constraints, false conclusions, and dozens of other patterns and things that cause founders or businesses to drift away from repeatable revenue. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of troubled by something. Started bothering me, and that is I realize that founders aren't struggling for lack of answers. If anything, they have too many answers. Every day, we're told run ads, build a funnel, hire sales, create more content, use AI, fix your offer. And they all sound really reasonable. So founders end up carrying around the same question year after year. These are the questions that you don't always say out loud. These are the questions that show up at 2 a.m. These are questions that show up when you're in the shower, on the way to work, or on the way to your whatever your commute is, or in the strategy meeting. The questions that are like, what's actually preventing growth? Why isn't more effort producing results? What should I do next? Am I solving the right problem? Can this business ever be predictable? Today isn't about another pattern. It's about the questions underneath the pattern. Because after 30 weeks, I believe founders are not held back by lack of answers. They're held back by not knowing which ones are the right questions. So let's talk about the questions. Question 1. What is actually preventing growth? Most founders believe growth is being prevented by the things that they can see. More leads, more sales, more content, more visibility. But after 30 weeks of Archetypes of Scale, I noticed something. The things preventing growth is rarely the thing that we see. It's rarely what we can see. Every founder eventually reaches a moment where they realize, I've been working on symptoms. And deep down, they already know it. Question 2. Why isn't more effort producing more results? This may be the question I hear more than any other, because effort should feel like it matters. Effort should matter. And it does until it doesn't. At some point, every founder discovers that effort and progress are not the same thing. That's a hard realization, because the answer can't be try harder. And most founders already know that. They've been trying harder for months, sometimes even years. Question 3. What should I do next? Nobody talks about how exhausting this is. Not because founders lack answers, because they have too many answers. Every expert has a recommendation. Every platform has a solution. Every strategy sounds reasonable. And eventually the founder reaches a point where they aren't asking for more ideas. They're asking, which one applies to me? That's a different question entirely. Question 4. Am I solving the right problem? This may be the most expensive question in business, because solving the wrong problem still feels productive. You can spend months improving something that was never the constraint. You can spend thousands fixing something that was never broken. And most founders have experienced this at least once, probably more than once. Question 5. Can this business become predictable? Can this business become predictable? This is the question underneath all of the questions. The one founders can't say out loud, or rarely say out loud. Because what they're really asking is, can I stop rebuilding this thing every month? Can growth become repeatable? Can decisions become clearer? Can effort produce more certainty? Can I finally trust the system? Every founder carries some version of these questions. So, after 30 weeks of Archetypes of Scale, I have come to a simple conclusion. Business hasn't become more complicated. we've become surrounded by more noise. The fundamentals are still the fundamentals: demand, conversion, capacity, and cash. The challenge isn't finding another tactic. The challenge is knowing what to look for before you deploy the tactic. That's what we've been investigating. That's what we've been investigating for 30 weeks. Not answers, not hacks, not shortcuts. Questions. The right questions. Because the founders who scale are not the ones with the most information. They are the ones who can see what matters.